Ciao everyone, welcome to a new video. I'm Marco, and in this video I want to show you how to sample a kick drum out of a track with this neat trick. So let's dive into it. Here I have this track and I'm not going to play it much because I don't want to get a copyright strike by YouTube. However, is Cinderella, She Said Her Name by Bob Sinclair. So the very first step is to pick a kick in a part that's not too busy. So we have to just clean up the least things possible. So I think that the second and the third have to be ignored by default because they have the clap on it. So let's just ignore it. And the third one is really nice to me. So let's highlight it. Let's zoom. And we can just take this portion, Command E to divide it, and we clean this up. So now it's time to split the sample into different bands. And to do this, I have FabFilter Pro MB. At this point, we can use whatever multiband plugin. We can use Ozone, Neutron, whatever. It's up to you. I prefer using FabFilter Pro MB because I can decide the slope between each band. So one thing you have to keep in mind with FabFilter Pro MB, it's that you have to just keep the threshold all the way up. Okay. And the ratio each band to 1, so it's not compressing. And so now let's listen to all the bands and set the crossovers. So now that we have all the bands, we have to multiply the track by the number of bands we've set up. So we have to make 4 copies of this one. So for a total of 5 tracks. Now let's take each band one by one. So now it's time to render, freeze and flatten all these tracks. So we have the actual envelope, the actual audio file of each band. Let's select all the tracks, freeze track, flatten. Okay, so now we have these 5 audio files. So considering that I left some space before the kick, now I will resize the loop so I have the kick hitting on the transient. I disable the grid. Okay, now let's just take all the audio clips and shape them with the length and with the clip fades. Okay, so now this is the result with all the tweaks made to the audio clips. At this point, we have a lot of room to make some adjustments. We can just keep more tail from the transient, from the tail, from whatever. We are actually free to shape the kick drum in all of its bands. So. Another important thing to keep in mind is to use clip fades also at the beginning of the audio clip, because that will create a zero crossing point and that prevents the kick from having any sort of unwanted click. At this point we have some stereo information within each band, so if we want to get rid of it, we can just use a utility tool and pick only one of the left or right channel. So this is an optional step, but as you can see we have another layer of editing of the kick, because as the left and the right channels sound different, by picking one we can just decide how our final kick will sound. So finally we can just set the levels. Now we can tune the kick. Basically we have the sub layer which has the root note. We can just find its root note and then we can think about pitching up or down depending on our needs. So let's load the Spectrum. So this one says G0. So at this point we can just export our kick and use it in any other session. If you particularly love the work you've done, you can just save this session and keep it for whenever you want to tweak this kick with this level of accuracy. So this is it for this video. If you have any question, feel free to ask in the comment section below, and see you in the next one.